Welcome back to Hot Water Wrestling, everybody. And here is my movie review of Prometheus. Yes, we'll keep the summer movies rolling. I do not have a Prometheus poster with me right now. I just didn't want to print one off because it's so dark. It just would waste so much ink. And we all know what the poster looks like. I'm sorry I don't have anything to show you. But I will have a review for you. This review is going to be, kind of dear to my heart because the Alien franchise is something that I grew up with, and I was very excited to see this movie. I will say, before I get into anything, that I did like this movie overall. When Prometheus was announced, I was very, very excited to hear that Ridley Scott was revisiting the Alien franchise in one way or another and creating a prequel film named Prometheus. I didn't really know much about it. When I went to go see it, I kind of just kept my blinders on and didn't want anything spoiled. The movie opened up just beautifully, very artistic, almost Kubrick-esque, 2001-esque, and I thought, oh my gosh, we are in for a hell of a film here. And I expected Prometheus to come out, the film. I expected the film to come out, and I expected to really love it, but I expected it to be more highbrow science fiction, and I expected it to go over a lot of people's heads, kind of like The Watchmen. Everyone who went to go see The Watchmen, either you were in on what was going on, and it was like phenomenal, or you thought you were just buying a ticket to see a superhero movie, and you sat through, a very high concept, deep picture that you really didn't gravitate towards. If you look at The Watchmen, you got a group of people who just love the film, which I'm in, and then a bunch of people who just hate the film. All right, well, I think Prometheus is kind of going to be the same way. Like I said, the film opens up just amazingly gorgeous opening, one of the best openings I've seen in a long time. The film was definitely the most beautiful film I've seen this summer as far as visually, composition, cinematography, just unbelievable. And then this movie all of a sudden turns into Galaxy of Terror by Roger Corman. And a lot of you don't get that reference. No, I don't mean the horror in the film. Of course I expected that. I mean the cheesiness, the 80s canon cheese. I thought the crew on board the Prometheus, their chemistry could have been a lot better. The guy who played the male scientist, the head male scientist in the film, I was not happy with his job. The lady who played the female scientist in the film, and forgive me if I do not remember the characters' names because I do not. The people who, the lady who played the female scientist in the film, at first, I thought she was okay. By the end of the film, I loved her. I thought she was great. Charlize Theron did a wonderful job. And let's get to Michael Fassbender, the man who played the droid. Wow, that was one of the best droid performances I've seen by an actor in my entire life. His job as the droid in this film, the android, is worth going to see the film alone. He was just hands down fantastic. Overall, the film is very entertaining, though. Has one of the creepiest scenes I've seen in a very long time. I do not want to include any spoilers, but I will say one thing. It does, of course, have to do with the classic alien in the stomach. That's not really spoiling anything because everyone knows when you have an alien type film, you're going to eventually get to that part, right? So there's this one scene by the female scientist. It's a solo scene with her, and wow, just absolutely mind-blowing. This film really tickled my imagination as far as being an Aliens fan, rather. It really had me going. I've been talking about this movie with my friends for the past couple of days since we've seen it. There's so many questions. There's so much to try to figure out. It's definitely a movie you're going to want to see a few times if you're a fan, obviously. If you're not, you're not. Just the ending poses so many questions, and I'm trying to keep this spoiler-free. Overall, what I'll say is, if you're an Aliens fan, this film should make you happy. It could have been as good as Blade Runner or Alien 1, but it wasn't as serious as those films. I wish it would have had the same creepy dark tone that the first Alien had or Blade Runner had. There are moments like that. He reaches even higher heights than those films in some moments, but for some reason he made the choice to kind of dumb this down to an 80s action movie kind of cheesy thing, and then it was like brilliant science fiction. It was a very interesting blend, very kind of off-putting in some ways, but like I said, there was way more good than there was bad. It could have been, like I said, just a 5-star brilliant film, but instead we have a 3.5-star really awesome entertaining film. And maybe some people might find what I'm saying hard to understand, and maybe those of a younger generation who didn't necessarily grow up with the Alien franchise or in the 80s with the action films of the 80s just in general, that might completely go over their head. If you have no attachment to the Alien franchise, you might come out of this movie saying, it was okay. And even if you are a big Alien fan, you might come out and still say, it was okay. A part of me is saying, it's okay, but it's really not, because it's better than just okay. It's pretty fucking awesome. It could have been awesomer, but at the same time, it's just, I wish I could speak freely in this video about some of the things that happened in the movie, because I just don't want to have spoilers. The movie's so new. But I will say this. If you are a fan of science fiction, if you are a fan of horror, if you are a fan of any type of movies, action movies that make the that are a little bit different and make the imagination wander, then you should go see Prometheus. Keep your expectations in check that you're gonna get kind of this like creepy, cheesy, brilliant movie all blended into one. I don't know how else to put it, but keep your expectations in check is what I'll say, okay? If you keep them in check, you should leave this movie happy. It's absolutely worth going to see on the big screen. It's worth seeing over a lot of movies that are out there right now. So that is my review for Prometheus, and I will be back soon. See you next time on Hot Water Wrestling.